Tired of feeling tired? Done with diet culture? Overwhelmed by conflicting nutrition and fitness messages? Then join us, your hosts of the Nutrition Revolution podcast, as we take a deep dive into all things women's fitness and nutrition. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Tabitha. And together we are debunking diet culture myths and giving you the tools you need to finally see the results you're looking for. It's time to revolutionize your nutrition and training.
Welcome back to another episode. Today we are going to talk about reintroducing foods. So,
dun dun dun.
Yeah, we've been on kind of a journey with our family. So my kids are both, they both had gluten issues when they were, when we were giving them food and introducing with them food.
Like when they were babies?
Mm-hmm,
or toddlers?
Yeah, toddlers. And so we have always been in our house gluten-free, dairy-free, like that's just what we were. And then because I have gluten issues, so we let them have dairy as they got a little bit older, and we noticed that like my son, if he had too much dairy, it was a problem. I won't go into detail to spare him, but it was a problem. So we cut back on all things dairy, and the only dairy that they have now is like grass-fed cheese on occasion, and then like real butter, and no milk or anything like that in our house. And so they're okay with that. And then I noticed like if they do have too much dairy, I can start to see like my daughter gets these bumps on the back of her arms, and my son will get kind of like a little red on his cheeks. And then there's some other things that will happen if they have dairy. They're a lot like my husband. He has the same kind of stuff happen if he has too much dairy. So limited dairy, and then gluten has just been like no, we don't have it at all, because mainly my daughter, we noticed that if she was having anything with gluten and then she would get in the car and drive somewhere, she would instantly throw up, and it was creating like motion sickness for her. And so we have just always kept dairy out. So that has been
gluten. You mean?
I mean gluten. Yes.
Yeah.
So that has just always been. They've grown up gluten-free, mostly dairy-free. And then a few years ago, my son was going to like a camp, and he was like, I feel like I miss out because I don't get to eat the pizza. So I told him, I was like, well, if you want to try gluten in small amounts, like let's try, because I would prefer him to be able to go and have it. Like, all kids should be able to have a little bit of something. And so I got him like a slice of pizza that was normal pizza, and he ate it and no symptoms. He was totally fine. So I was like, you know what? This summer when you go to camp, eat the gluten pizza, like enjoy it. So he did, and he was fine. And so now we've noticed he's been able to have it a little bit here and there without issues. If he has too much, we start to see some issues, but a little bit every once in a while, he's totally fine. My daughter is terrified to try it, like to the point where I'm like, I'm telling you it's okay. Try a little bit of it, but she hates the thought of throwing up. So she is terrified. So there have been times where I'm like, there's a little bit of gluten in that, but you might be okay. And she just won't do it. And then we were at like a Savannah Bananas game, which was so fun, by the way. And she wanted the hot dog bun. I guess looked so good for her. And she was like, I just really want to eat this hot dog with the bun. And I was like, okay, just try it. And she was like, all right. So I saw her just kind of like nibbling at it a little bit. And we got in the car, drove home, no issues. She was like, hey, I didn't throw up on my way home. And I was like, that's so great. So both of them around the age of 10, she's 10 now, I've noticed have been able to have gluten without the side effects that they used to have when they were younger. And so for me, even this was something that I was like, I thought that they would always have issues with gluten, maybe because I have it, my husband avoids it, but they seem to be kind of, I don't know, growing out of it or just being able to tolerate it better in small doses. But it was interesting to me to see the fear side of it for my daughter, that she was afraid to try the new things because she was afraid of the side effects. So,
well, yeah, I mean, throwing up is the worst.
Yeah,
I don't blame her, poor girl.
It is. And so, it got me thinking about like, my own self, like what are some of the foods that I avoid eating because I'm afraid of the side effects? Now, in my brain, it would probably be more on the like disordered eating side of like, what foods am I avoiding in my own diet that I'm not eating them because I'm afraid that it's going to make me gain weight or it's going to make me feel some sort of way, whether it's an allergy or not. And I had to have that like hard conversation with myself of like, I don't actually really ever eat candy. Like my kids will have like the Yum Earth candy in the backseat. And I'm like, oh man, I used to love like Skittles and gummy candy, and I never eat that anymore. And so it was kind of trying to start the summer of exposing myself to eating some of those things that I have been avoiding. And so, now on occasion I'll be like, oh, give me some of those and I'll eat them. And the kids are like sharing it with me.
Why do you think, though, you avoided those things? Like, what was the root cause of you no longer allowing yourself to have Skittles or gummy candy, Sour Patch watermelons? Like, I know that you avoid food dyes as much as possible, but let's say it sounds like even the candy that is colors from natural sources, you'll still avoid that. So is it more of a sugar like phobia, would you say?
Yeah.
100%. That with weight gain? That's where it stems from you?
Okay. 100%. I think it has to do with like in my brain growing up, like eat less, move more, or like, oh, if you would stop eating that, you could lose weight. Like it was that
those things were the enemy. They were the
sugar
culprit,
is the enemy of everything.
And the reason behind
sugar is why we're
you
all
not
fat.
being the weight you wanted to be or thought you should be, which maybe, I would say the real problem was that you thought there was a weight that you should be,
right?
Versus
for sure
what was actually appropriate for your genetic makeup and your build. But that's, that's the bigger overarching issue. I was super carb phobic for a long time.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, I equated healthy eating. It was synonymous with no carb, low carb. That carbs were the problem. Carbs are what led to weight gain, all those kinds of things. So it was like carbs were saved for special occasions. And, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have
on your birthday
a bun with my burger, or by special occasions, I mean Friday through Sunday, when then it was like, eat all the things. Yeah. Because weekends, YOLO, right? Or you earned it. But like, couldn't dare have a bun with my burger. It had to be a lettuce wrap, and it had to be like, oh my gosh. So learning to eat carbs actually took me years to work through that fear, that carb phobia,
right?
To get to where I am now. Yeah. Where I love carbs.
I know.
Anyways. Okay.
I know. And I think that, as much as we talk about being healthy and eating healthy and, making all these choices and trying to just live our life and balance and all of this, there's still some things that we hold on to a little bit in our brains.
Absolutely. Well, it's hard to retrain your brain. It takes a lot of conscious effort and work, and it takes a lot of patience and time. And we've talked about this in previous episodes, especially around like getting results. We live in a give me right now, I want right now world, right? I can go and get my groceries delivered within 2 hours. I can go on Amazon. I can go chat GPT and Google and get answers to things immediately. Like, we live in an instant gratification society and world. So things that you can't rush, like body composition changes, retraining your brain. It's scary. It's hard. It takes time. It takes a lot of work. And we're not as well conditioned for that anymore, I think, in general. Yeah. And that can be tricky and scary. So talking today, I think mostly how to reintroduce foods without fear. And I don't know, now that I think about it, I'm like, not so much without fear, but how to reintroduce foods in the face of fear.
Yeah, do it scared.
Because you're still going to, that fear is there. You're not just going to be like, I'm not scared of carbs or gummy candy. And then it's like, oh, poof. Like, if it was that easy, right?
No, because then there's still that like, oh my gosh, I just ate a handful of whatever.
My day's done. It's all ruined.
Yeah, what am I going to do now?
Be backsliding and not reach my goals, or going to put back on weight. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle that is really just in our head.
Yeah, it's in our head.
But it's real, though. Yeah. Like, it's in your head, but it's also real because the brain is so powerful.
Yeah, it's holding on to those things that you grew up learning, or all the things you grew up believing about that. So, as much as we educate and learn about nutrition and know that there's a time and a place for everything, it's still actually applying it is scary.
Yeah, being able to do that hard work and to be patient and to sit with the discomfort, to acknowledge and sit with the fear. And then as you work your way through it. And I think that is the starting point. I mean, because we can sit here and give you all the tips on how to reintroduce foods when it's an allergy situation, or you're trying to see, like, have I grown out of this allergy? Because that is a thing. Yeah, absolutely. Kids that are 3 and allergic to eggs may no longer have a sensitivity to eggs when they're 12.
Oh, for sure. And if you do your gut healing, and
absolutely. Yeah.
You can 100%.
So we're talking more about the food phobias for whatever like diet culture reason, like whether it's the carb phobia, the sugar phobia, fat phobia. Yeah. If you eat fat, you're going to be fat.
For sure.
So I would say step one is acknowledge the phobia, acknowledge the fear, give it space.
Yeah. I think that's what I had to do this summer is like realize like you're doing this to yourself. Like you actually avoid that, not because you think that, you know, it's going to hurt your stomach or it's going to hurt your brain. Like you're avoiding it for the weight loss side of it. And admitting that to myself was like an eye opener of, man, there's so many things that I still hold on to that I didn't even realize I was still holding on to, but like secretly I was holding on to it. So admitting that and then taking those steps to expose myself to those has been really freeing and helpful.
Yeah. I think that the steps that you would use to reintroduce possible food allergens is very similar to reintroducing them when there's food fear or a phobia. So I would say after you've acknowledged what it is specifically, whether it's foods that contain fat or carbohydrate containing foods or sugar foods, whatever it might be, junk food, starting slowly, picking one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean like all carbs. I mean, start with like fruit. This is a very common one that I experience with clients that come to me that are like, yeah, you know, when we first do our initial, like, are we a good fit? And then we establish we are, and we're going to work together. And I get the initial like food intake diary history. And it's like, I would say 7 out of 10 women will tell me like, and I'm really good about like not eating a lot of fruit, hardly eating fruit. Cause I know like all the sugar, and I'm like, oh, okay. We have so much to unpack here. So much to learn about how actually fruit is so good for you. So many vitamins and minerals and fiber, whatever. I digress. So let's just start with that. If you're someone that's like, oh no, you can't have fruit because of all the sugar, like acknowledging that fear, why you have that, and then say, okay, I'm going to, because bananas seem to be the big culprit.
There's so much sugar, but you can eat a green one because it's less sugar.
Or let me go have my Diet Coke and my Chick-fil-A sandwich, but like, God forbid I have a banana.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with having a banana every other day.
Yeah.
Whether it's like with breakfast or it's on your oatmeal, it's
even
with
just
your
like,
lunch, like
start incorporating it into something else, a smoothie, like add a little bit into a smoothie.
So many clients that I'm like, wait, what? You add banana to every smoothie? When I give them like I have a bunch of recipe books that my clients have access to. And one of them is like a smoothie book. And in there's also like how to make your own smoothies, to be creative and experiment with foods and flavors. And I'm like, my base is always a banana, as well as like I do like coconut water, almond milk, milk or water, like chia, flax, hemp seeds, and then banana. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's what makes it taste so good.
Yeah, that's why it's delicious and creamy.
Yeah, frozen banana. If you got a banana that's past its expiration date on the counter over there, put it in that smoothie. And it's like, whoa, that's the scary thing. Like you're, you know.
But I think we've been so conditioned to believe that there are foods that make you fat and foods that keep you thin.
Yes.
And, you know, that's just how we have been raised to believe that, right? So there was that avoid any food that is white, you know, no flour, no sugar, and then keep it low fat, and then everything else is fine. You're good.
Yeah, so basically meat and vegetables.
Yeah. And I think that when I, you know, so growing up, I had this idea in my brain that food was the problem. Food is why I am the way that I am. And, you know, to an extent, yes, that is true, but it was the way I consumed food and like the foods that I, you know, well, I was not dealing with like some of the allergies that I now know that I had. But, you know, instead of avoiding all food, I can eat foods. It's just in the way that I'm consuming them. And so, you know, I just lived in fear of, oh my gosh, if I eat an Oreo, it's going to go straight to my hips. If I eat, you know, cake, it's going to, you know, make my arms fat. You know, like that's just how I thought food was. So for me, it was an eye opener when I did start a whole foods diet that I could eat, you know, the whole foods, and I could eat the fruit, and the fruit wasn't causing me to gain weight. And I was like, wait, what? I thought that fruit was, you know, bad for you. You know, so it's not necessarily the food It's just how you eat them.
It's not the food itself. It's the mindset around the food. It's the power that we're giving that food. I mean, the food is an inanimate object.
Right.
A banana is just going to sit there on the counter and it's not going to do a dang thing until you act upon it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And you're giving that banana so much power through your mindset around it, through the fact that you're looking at it and you're saying that banana is bad because it has 30 grams of carbohydrate in the form of fructose, which is fruit sugar, not the same as white table sugar. Okay. And so you have given that banana power and framed it in a negative context that it's bad for you and you shouldn't have it and too much. And that's the problem is the banana, when actually the banana is not the problem at all.
No,
it's your mindset around food.
So then you eat it and you're like, well, I just, destroyed my diet.
It's all done.
And then you go down
you just snorted a line of Coke or something.
Right, exactly.
What?
But then it creates guilt and shame. So you're like, well, I already ruined my day, so I'm just going to ruin the rest of the day. And that's actually when things begin to unravel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and things really unravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So introducing, starting with that poor banana who's never done anything but just be nutritious and wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Introducing it, I would say if you really are like, okay, fruit is a problem, start with the banana and do it like 30 to 60 minutes before you're going to exercise. And then start noticing how you feel.
Yeah.
Do you actually have some more energy in your workouts? Like, has there actually been any change over a 2-week period that is negative, or have there been positive changes? So maybe even keep a simple journal, to help you work through that.
Yeah. It's important to start having that. I don't do caffeine because it causes issues, but I think we talked about last episode, I was starting to do some research on yerba mate, and the caffeine in that hasn't bothered me. Now I'm doing small doses here and there. But one of the things that I did was I tried it one day, just a little bit, monitored my symptoms, or like if anything was changing, if I noticed anything different, I monitored that for like a couple days. No issues. Felt fine. Actually felt great. Had some energy throughout the day, which was good. And then didn't have it again for a while, and then had a little bit more again. Same thing, was fine. And so when we're introducing those foods, you want to make sure that you're watching for any adverse effects, but also for like some good effects. Like, are you having more energy? Are you feeling better? Are you sleeping better? So sometimes I think a lot of times we'll talk about reintroducing foods and we're always looking for the negative, but we also have to look for the positive. And I don't think people talk enough about like the positives of having some banana or having some carbs in our diet after not having them.
Yeah. Well, the non-scale positives, right? Instead of being so focused on that number on that scale, look at other things.
Yeah.
Is your clothing fitting better? Do you have more energy in your workouts and after your workouts, right? Do you have greater mental focus and clarity throughout the day? Is your skin improving, right? Your skin's the magic mirror. So if you're dealing with a lot of acne and rashes and skin issues, that's your body telling you that something that you're eating, something in your food environment is not working for you.
Yeah.
So as you're working on cleaning up your diet or reintroducing foods that you've typically avoided, what are some of those non-scale positives that are happening and going on through that journey of reintroduction? I also think that it's important to check your emotions there, right? Like letting go of the guilt, letting go of the shame, letting go of the I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't want this. I said this in an episode recently, stop shoulding all over yourself. Like, right?
T-shirts coming to you.
Yeah. Focusing on food as fuel versus something that is bad or has to be avoided, right? How can I, instead of like, okay, this banana is the problem and I can't have the banana, it's too much sugar. Let's reframe that to what can I add onto my plate that is going to provide my body with the energy and the nutrients it needs to show up for me and perform the way that I need it to today and every day. Starting small, whether if it is a carb phobia thing, starting with just one piece of fruit a day or every other day. If it is a fat thing where you've always eaten low fat, like if it's not low fat or no fat, you're not going to eat it. Don't go from like fat-free yogurt to whole milk yogurt, full fat, right? Go to like 1%, reduce fat, 2%. Like, work your way up to see how you feel and not like, again, avoiding that, doing it all or nothing trap.
Yeah. And you don't have to put, so like the fat in the yogurt and stuff, you can do your skim milk and your fat-free yogurt, but then maybe start adding in like a full fat something to your coffee, or, like incorporate it little by little. It doesn't have to be like you have to change everything all at once to be full fat. You can start working in little by little here and there, those kinds of things.
Yeah, switching from the no fat to 1% or the skim to 1%, fat-free yogurt to reduce fat, something along those lines to like dip your toes in the water.
Yeah, because then it will help you realize that like, okay, I had this, my pant size didn't go from a size, 2 to a 16 overnight. Like it wasn't like, it didn't create those problems or whatever that that a lot of us fear with the low fat products.
Yeah, no single nutrient, no single food is the cause or the root cause of weight gain or the inability to lose weight. It's a multifaceted, very nuanced situation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe, is that the right word to use? Situation or, that you're dealing with. So I can assure you it is not the fat content in your yogurt or the banana or some gummy candy here or there. It's your mindset around that keeping you stuck and keeping you in that shame, fear, guilt mindset.
It's a vicious cycle, because you have goals, but then we have those, thoughts that we can't have them. And so, it's just over and over again. And so the only way to get out of that cycle is to start incorporating it and being brave, doing it scared, and adding in the foods here and there as you move through, but addressing it and knowing that you actually have those thoughts around those foods is really important.
And it's going to take time. It's not like a light bulb turns on and you're like, oh yes. Okay. All of that fear and irrational thinking around that food is gone. Like it takes time, and there's going to be ebbs and flows. You're going to move forward and then kind of fall back, and just being consistent with the effort and then educating yourself too about, what are these nutrients really doing in my body? What is actually at play here will go a long way in helping you begin to reintroduce foods that you have traditionally avoided because of fear or because, I shouldn't have that. I shouldn't want that. Let us know how that works for you. And if there's any foods that you try reintroducing, we'd love to hear how it goes.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending your time with us. If you found this podcast helpful, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast platform. If you have nutrition or fitness questions you want answered on future episodes, we would love to hear from you. You can submit these questions to our email, thenutritionrevolutionpodcast@gmail.com, and follow us on Instagram @thenutritionrevolutionpodcast.